Hey, what's up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about how everything that you're trying to attain, everything that you want to be, everything that you're seeking, you should stop seeking it. And I don't say that because I'm saying that it's unattainable or anything like that. It's perfectly attainable, but attainable in a way that's different from what you might think. It's already inside of you. You don't have to seek it because you've already attained it. See, like, something that I was thinking about a little bit ago was, like last night actually, was how I'm this person who is constantly seeking growth, constantly seeking to let go of old ideas that don't serve me anymore in order to find something new and something better and build upon myself. And I was seeking to become that person for so long in my life. And I was constantly beating myself up for not being that person, not being the person that I want to be. And then it's only now that I finally am that person that I realize that I was already that person to begin with. A while back when I was around my teenage years, I used to be really like a really devout Christian. Like, I was the most Christian you can possibly get. I was the most Christian motherfucker ever. I swear to God. And basically, just a second, I'm just checking my coffee and make sure that it's boiling properly. Oh, it's not coffee yet, but I'm gonna turn it into coffee. Anyways, I'm actually gonna add some sticks to that quick. Let you guys watch me fiddling around with the fire for a second so that it's not boring. I just gotta make sure that I get all of my shit set up so that I can drink coffee when I want to. I gotta find something. I can't break this stick with my hands not free, so I gotta find some stuff that's just lying around here. Let's see. There we go, that should do, I think. Let's put some dead leaves in there so that the fire catches up nice and quick. And bam. There we go. That should do it. Cool. Anyways, I was really Christian a while back. I was the type of person that I would basically I didn't question anything. I believed everything that they told me up until I actually finally read the Bible. And I was too smart for them to trick me after that, because I started reading the Bible, and it's funny because the Bible is actually what started planting seeds of doubt in me, because I hadn't actually read it and really taken time to absorb the words up until that point. And then when I finally read it, I started seeing all this messed up stuff, how the Israelites would just come and legit just raid towns and kill everybody and then rape the women. And then that's when I started being wait a minute, how can a kind and forgiving God be okay with this? And I was also the church was really into spreading homophobia and transphobia and stuff like that, and I was really deep into that. I firmly was I mean, I wasn't the type of person that would constantly go around blabbing it to people who were gay and looking down on them, and I didn't treat them in an unfriendly manner or anything like that, but I really did like believe what the church said about it. I believed that it was a sin, and I was definitely like kind of homophobic in that way. Like, it wasn't that I didn't like them. I still enjoy, like, I could still be friends with people like that, but I'd say that it was still homophobic just because of the fact that I believed those things. And I was like, I was just really like, I was a really naive person when it came to all that stuff. And so basically, like, I finally read the Bible and I actually started questioning it, but I was in the state of mind where, like, I didn't want to let go. I just refused to let go. I was like, no, this thing that I've believed my entire life couldn't possibly be false. How could it be? How, like, I was just so resistant to the idea of it. And because, like, I was so scared of just letting go of this thing that actually did make me happy for a little while. But I mean, thinking back on it, when I think back on it nowadays, it didn't really make me happy. It was just a false sense of security. It was a false sense of happiness. In all actuality, it made me miserable because, like, the church spreads some really toxic things. They plant some really toxic ideas in you, and they constantly tell you how, like, worthless you are in comparison to God. And it's a very upsetting thing. So, and then one day I was just thinking about it, and suddenly I just decided to let go, and I felt no pain whatsoever, and it was easy peasy. Like, I just dropped it, and I was just okay with it. And now I'm kind of, for a while I was kind of resentful towards Christianity for it, and it went from that to then having to, like, be okay with some of the Christian ideas and actually look into the Bible and pick and choose which parts of it served me and which parts of it didn't. And so, like, I just kind of, like, nowadays I'm not, like, I wouldn't, like, consider myself a Christian, but I do believe in certain parts of the Bible, but then the other parts that are just, like, messed up, I just reject. And, like, certain parts of it serve me and help me on my path. And so basically, like, my point in saying all of this is, like, I always wanted, like, basically, like, last night I was thinking about all of this, and I was just thinking about how, like, I've always been that person that just is willing to do whatever it takes to grow as a person. And it shows through my ability to just suddenly let go of that thing, that idea that was holding me back for so long. And I just did it. I almost did it. Like, when I did it, it was kind of just like all of my fear just dissolved in that moment, and I didn't feel any pain, I didn't feel any sorrow, I didn't feel any fear whatsoever. I was just able to do it suddenly and quickly in the snap of a finger. And but yeah, and I wanted to go, I actually wanted to, ironically, I wanted to examine some Bible verses that Jesus gets into in the New Testament. I can't remember which book it's in, because there's multiple books that talk about the gospel of Jesus and the teachings of Jesus. And his story. Just a second. Yep, okay. Just checking the coffee water. Anyways, basically, Jesus talks about how the kingdom of heaven is within you. He said, basically, so like, when we're thinking about this, we have to really like take it into, it's really interesting to think about, because like a lot of Christians will tell you like heaven is a place, and if you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't believe in God, then you're gonna go to hell when you die and you're not gonna get into heaven. But like, that's actually very contrary to what Jesus says about heaven and hell when you really look deeply into it. Because like I said, Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. And what could that possibly mean? That means that everything that you're seeking is inside of you already. Everything that you're seeking is something that already exists inside of you. And so you shouldn't be seeking it externally. Seeking it externally is what leads to what we call hell. And seeking it externally is the definition of the separation from God. Heaven is, basically hell is separation from God. And seeking things internally, because God is within you, heaven is within you, is connection to God. And basically, like, that's the key to manifestation. That's what all of these spiritual teachers a lot of the times talk about. They talk about how you have to embody the things that you're trying to find inside of yourself before you can find them externally. And that's exactly what Jesus talks about too. And it's really interesting to look at. And basically, like, hell isn't like a literal place. It's not a place that you're going to go to when you die. There is an afterlife. Heaven and hell don't actually refer to the afterlife. Hell is basically when you focus on the outside world more than you focus on the inner world. Hell is when you are so focused on all the suffering in the world and the things that you don't have, and looking at hell and looking at those instead of observing within and realizing that you have everything that you need to be happy inside of you already. And so basically, like, when you look at, like, let's say a gaming system, and you say to yourself, I want that, that's hell. That's what hell is. And that is what leads to eternal separation from God, because as long as you're wanting things externally and you're not realizing that you already have them within yourself, you're never going to break that cycle until you finally realize that everything that you seek is within you. And so hell is more of like a metaphor for that. Heaven is a metaphor for that rather than an actual place. Another thing that's interesting that Jesus said is that we're all gods and goddesses. And what Jesus was basically trying to teach was manifestation. He was trying to teach us to embody our inner divinity and realize that everything is a part of the living God. All is one. Everything takes part in this grand universe, in this grand cosmos, whatever you want to call it. Everything that exists is a part of God, and that's all within you as well. You have your own internal universe that your external universe shapes around. Anyways, I think that's going to be about it for this video. I'll see you guys later. Blessed be. Have a beautiful day. Peace, and I love you all.